transformed by scavenger protect. So I exist in single instinct.
Is that you? Help us. Stop running, Max! You to help us!
Surviving in the post-apocalyptic wasteland of Mad Max, Fury Road is the ultimate goal, and humanity is reduced to its most primal instincts. The collapse of civilization left the world dry and lifeless, a scorched landscape ruled by scarcity and violence.
Friends, be coming, and you will.
Running on empty.
Water and fuel, which is now a valuable commodity, determines the balance of power and lawlessness, and cruelty dominate daily life. Amidst this chaos, two unlikely heroes, Max Rokitansky and Imperator Furiosa, are at the center of a ceaseless fight for freedom and redemption.
First we can... Get up!
The film opens with Max, Tom Hardy, a lone wanderer haunted by the loss of his wife and child. As a road warrior, Max wanders the wasteland, tortured by visions of a loved one and struggling to maintain his sanity. He is captured by the extremist war boys, led by the dictator Immortan Joe, Hugh Keys-Byrne. Joe controls the Citadel, a massive fortress where he exercises absolute power over the hopeless population by storing water called aqua, cola, and food supplies as necessary to maintain his domination. Max is used as a blood bag slave or human blood donor to feed the ailing war boys, especially Nicholas Hoult, Joe's young and eager follower. It is painted white and is often driven by religious faith, believing that they can go to Valhalla, an afterlife, to die in the service of Joe. Meanwhile, Immortan Joe's rule was further strengthened by his exploitation of the weak. His most prized possessions are his wives, a group of young women he keeps captive to use as breeding animals to produce healthy heirs. These women, Splendid Angarad, Capable, Toast the Knowing, the Dag, and Cheeto the Fragile, are desperate to escape from the oppressive conditions of their captivity. The story takes a major turn when one of Joe's lieutenants, Imperator Furiosa Charlize Theron, sets out on what appears to be a routine supply delivery in the war rig, a heavily armored tanker truck that, unbeknownst to Joe, Furiosa has escaped. Bravely she plans. She smuggles the wives out of the Citadel and hides them under the rig, intending to transport them to Green Place, a mythical oasis where they can live free from Joe's tyranny. When Joe discovers Furiosa's treachery, he rallies his war boys in pursuit as he begins a roaring chase across the barren wasteland. Desperate to prove his worth to Joe, Nix follows with Max strapped to the front of his car to provide fresh blood. Furiosa, a skilled driver and tactician, lead the convoy into a huge sandstorm. A storm of wind and lightning wipes out several of Joe's vehicles. In the chaos, Max breaks free from Nix's car and survives the storm. After leaving the storm but still alive, Max meets Furiosa and his wife on the rig. Their first meeting was tense and intense. Max, driven by survival instincts, wants control of the rig, but the urgency of their shared fate brings them together uncomfortably. As Joe's forces approached, Max then reluctantly agrees to help Furiosa and his wife escape. By now, we know that their fates are intertwined. As they move deeper into the wasteland, the group faces a relentless pursuit of Joe's soldiers, including his allies from nearby factions, Bullet Farmer and People Eater, who provide extra firepower and vehicles for pursuit. Despite overwhelming odds, Furiosa proved his resourcefulness and courage in fighting. As Wars, Max uses his survival instincts and mechanical expertise to keep the rig moving. His wife reveals her flexibility, and their determination challenges Max's initial perception that they are helpless victims. One of the most important changes is within Nix, who begins the film as Immortan, Joe's ardent disciple, after repeatedly failing to capture a war rig and losing Joe's favor. Nix faces a crisis of faith. His path to redemption began with Cable. One wife showed unexpected kindness and compassion by treating him like a human being instead of a wasteful soldier. This moment of connection frees Nix from Joe's advice and join the group in fighting for survival. Furiosa's ultimate goal is to reach Green Place, the sacred place she remembers from her childhood, as a member of the Vuvalini, a matriarchal tribe of warriors and farmers. But when the group finally met the surviving members of Vuvalini, they received bad news. There is no green space. When fertile land is made uninhabitable, it was consumed by the environmental collapse that devastated the rest of the world. This revelation plunges Furiosa into despair, but Max, who begins to reconnect with his humanity through his interactions with the group, propose a bold plan. Instead of fleeing into the unknown, they should return to the castle and overthrow Immortan Joe. With Joe's troops exhausted and the Citadel's resources available, Max believes they have a chance to retake the castle and create a new, more equal society. The film's final act is an incredibly high-octane battle, as the group changes their rigs and dashes back to the Citadel, with Cho and the rest of the force in pursuit. The chase ended in a confrontation with a series of explosions. With the ingenuity of Max, Furiosa, etc., and showing courage. In an important duel, Furiosa confronts Joe directly, and use your mechanical arms and fighting skills to defeat him. In a time of poetic justice, she tears off Joe's oxygen mask and ends his reign of terror. Max sacrifices himself as a hero during the battle, using the rig to block off the canyon and prevent Joe's soldiers from pursuing the group further. His selfless actions ensured the survival of Furiosa, Max, his wife and Fuvolini, marking the culmination of his transformation from hardcore fighting boy to redeemed comrade. The group returns to the castle with Joe's lifeless body and revealed his death to his pursuers. The oppressed citizens of the castle who have been suppressed for a long time under Joe's rule rise up to celebrate and take control of the castle, now seriously injured but victorious. Furiosa is hailed as a hero and leader who is able to bring hope and change to the castle. With his solitary personality, Max silently departs into the wasteland. By missing the first glimmer of a brighter future,